Hi, guys. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes and see if we have anybody else show up. Ron, I don't think we've met. Um, you're working out of Rehoboth, I understand. Yes, no, maybe so.
There we go.
Hi.
Yes, we have not met. I am working out of Rehoboth. Actually, at the moment, I'm in Dewey Beach, but out of the Rehoboth office, yes.
Okay, are you sitting at the lighthouse?
Correct.
Open house. How are you doing traffic-wise on a day like this?
I had a couple through, but it's generally, it's interesting. We were busy a few weeks ago, and then after Delaware received the quarantine, things slowed down a little bit. Now that we've been lifted from that, I'm hoping that things will start to pick up. I've got clients coming in town tomorrow, although not for the lighthouse, but for some stuff in Bethany, and then clients coming in Friday. So hopefully it's starting to turn back around.
Good. Well, if you need any help down here in Bethany, let me know.
Absolutely. I will probably take you up on that.
This is my home turf. I've been here since 1970. So
Perfect.
if there's stuff, history or anything you need about Bethany, let me know.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I've been there, God, since 2003. So I live in Ocean View. Well, Ocean View address, not within the town limits, but on Muddy Neck.
Where do you live?
I live on Muddy Neck Road.
Ah, so where Ocean View Beach Club was my ex-husband's farm.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's all of that, all the way through to Central Avenue was all, or Route 26 was all part of the Berzins farm.
Yep, I'm just around the corner from there. I'm big blue house on Muddy Neck Road.
The Big Blue House. I know where you are.
Yep, been there
As soon as you said Big Blue, I went, oh, I know that one.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to get started now. We've got this marked off as an hour and a half class. It takes about 30 minutes to go through. What I'm assuming is everyone knows how to create an opportunity at this point, or do I need to start there? You guys let me know. Hi, Jean.
I've created an opportunity. Hopefully I'm doing it properly. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, Jean. How about you? You've created opportunities within Command.
My audio is not working very well. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I've worked on that. I've attended a couple, three of the courses, etc. And I think I'm okay with that. So I've got a transaction coming up. So here to learn how to get paid.
Well, that's always a good thing. I had a closing this morning and got paid, so it's always fun. Tracy, you just want to make sure that they're doing it the right way, right?
That is correct, ma'am. And see if I can pick up any tricks.
All right. There's one new piece of information that I have this week to share with you guys for good business practice. So let me share my screen and we'll get started on doing a transaction. This one. No, I want this one. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
So you are actually in the system with me, and I'm going to minimize you all on the side so that I don't have to look at that. All right. I need my mouse. Makes things much easier. Here we go. Okay. So you all know that you can do an opportunity from two different locations, right? From either within the contact screen or by going to the handshake over here, the opportunities icon. What you can't do is start a transaction from within DocuSign and pull it into Command or .loop. You can start it outside, but you're still going to have to bring the documents in. So it's always best practice to start within Command because it's going to have to come back to Command to get paid. So let's go into an opportunity that exists. Actually, I'm going to build one. Just pick on my husband for a second. Now, Ron, are you on a team, or Jean, you're not on a team either, right?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so you won't have anything in this team line. You'll be the owner of your transaction. And on this opportunity type, be sure that you choose either buyer if you're the selling agent, or if it's a listing. Because if you start it in the wrong spot, you can't go back and relabel this. They have to be started correctly from the beginning or archived and start over.
And I'm sorry, can I interrupt for 1 second?
Absolutely.
To say that she knows of what she speaks, because I just had to do that for an agent who started an opportunity under the wrong heading, and I had to completely undo it and redo the whole thing from scratch.
All right, so what I've done is picked on my son this time. He's going to be my fake buyer. And you can see on this screen, you've got some mandatory things. And what I'm going to put here is what my side of the transaction is, because this allows the system to calculate potential income for your side of the transaction. Now, this is the most important one of these phases to go to. If you have something that goes under contract, it needs to be under contract. So here I'm going to assume that they're an active buyer in the opportunity phase and that they're searching, or they're into negotiations. So I'm going to go ahead and create the opportunity. I'm not worried about documents at this point. This is your DocuSign or .loop part of the transaction. But once you've written an offer, there's the next tab here that is the offers tab. You're going to create a new offer. You can call it anything you want. We don't care. It's however you want to sort it. It can always remain initial offer. Oops. I'm just going to call this one example. So here you can see the name of the opportunity or the offer in the system. Yeah. So from here on, you've got some things that you need to fill out. You've got the offer date, the date you've got a ratified contract. That's kind of what we're looking for here. And then you've got a calendar to put in a potential closing date. We're going to pick the end of the month, and you can enter the location here. It has to be here. And then you're going to go to the tab that says parties. If you miss something, you'll know, because we're going to show you where the mistakes are later. I've got the buyer, husband to be the seller, and the email address that I've already pre-populated into my contact defaulted into this. And you can mark in here whether you choose to or not, whether or not they're pre-approved or pre-qualified. But you do need to have your agent information in here. And I've got both sides of the transaction on this one. Then I go to terms. Now, on this particular screen, it's going to ask you, how much cash are they putting down? And then how much is financed? You have to do these calculations. If you don't feel like it, just put in the purchase price here. This is just, something needs to be in this field. And then earnest money, you can do a percentage, or if you have an actual check for a specific amount. Option fees we don't have. Termination option we don't have. And if you have your seller doing any assist, you can fill it in here. It's not mandatory. What the information here is, we're using it for is Keller Williams is collecting the big data. They're not going into each transaction and looking at who your buyer and seller are, analyzing your transaction itself. They're looking at the big data saying 75% of the agents have pre-qualified buyers. 75% of the transactions have seller assist, so that they can look at what market trends are. It's not to look at your actual business. So the next tab that we're going to is called agent analysis. You don't have to do a thing on here. You can, if you want to, you can put the pros and cons in a summary. And where this would come into play is if you have multiple offers. You've got a listing and you get 3 offers on it. You can sit down and do these pros and cons. And when you do this, once you save it, you can see if you added new offers here, then you can generate a URL to send to your seller that would show the 3 offers basically on a spreadsheet showing the pros and cons, the price, the net. It's kind of a neat feature. Hopefully people are going to start using it more and more. All right. So as you see, it's got my offer on here. It's got the parties to it, whether or not they're pre-approved, and the basic information here. Once your offer is either accepted or rejected, an action has to occur. If your offer is accepted, and we'll say that this one was, the next thing you see is this commissions tab lights up. Let me go back and I'll show you. It's grayed out again. You have to have the accepted tab for the commission tab to light up. Okay? So from here, I've finished everything under the offers tab. I'm showing 1 offer. And you can add offers. You can call second offer. And, if you have a seller that rejects one and it's still on the market, that rejected one can still sit there as rejected and show the next offer coming in. So that's just something where you can track history. But now that my commissions tab is lit up, I'm going to go in here and it's going to show me, you can see over here on the side, it says you're missing a piece of information. And it's telling me down here that I'm missing a piece of information. While that piece of information is missing, I can submit it, but it can get pushed back to me. So I'm going to go in here and edit the general information. The contract date would be today. And I can save the change. And now that error message is gone and it says I've successfully updated, and the error message over here is gone. All right, the next thing it's going to show me is based on this information. It says, okay, you're the agent. Here's the gross commission. It's calculating my royalty here and then my net pay. Questions so far? And it will also calculate your cap. I don't have a cap in here right now, so it doesn't have that figure in here. Now I can edit my agent payment. For example, I might have a referral in here. So I need to change my commission to 75 because, and you actually have to calculate this. See, it redid it. And it says, okay, well, here's what you've got. And do I want to add anything into KW Cares? I tend to do this every time. So I want to put $25 into KW Cares. And it's going to continually calculate these things out. If I have the admin fee, I'm not charging my seller for it. I can put it in here as a deduction and the amount. And I don't need a tax ID number because it's not a referral. And it pays to Keller Williams. The address you obviously need. There it is. Phone number I need. And then I can add it in here. And I can save the changes. And you can see all these things have been added to these things. So it says, wait a minute, you've got remaining commission balance. So I need to add another agent. Agent's name. Ellen McCreary, and her unit is there. And I can save the changes. And now I've added another agent. Questions so far? Somebody's got to have a question. So once I have these calculated through, and it's what it doesn't show me is the other agent's information. It's not my business to see her transaction amounts. I mean, her cap amounts. So that's hidden from me. So once I go over this, I can look at it here and go, okay, here's the total. Here's what the office gets. Here's the royalty, the company commission, additional deductions, how much to me and how much to Ellen. And other deductions was the $50 off the top. So once I've done all of this, I would hit the submit button. And I'm not going to do this because it makes accounting crazy when I do it. But once I hit that button, I would have a notifier up here that says, now this one says my compliance request is done. But this will say whether or not the commission tab has been accepted by accounting. Once that's done, Becky will create the DA for you. And let me go back into the opportunity, into the details. Is that what I want? Nope, I want to go into documents. So on this particular transaction, because it's a buyer side transaction, we don't do a consultation. Some states do. There's forms that need to be signed and events that have to occur before you can write an offer. And that's where consultation documents will come into play in some other market centers. So we would go straight into the under contract, and going to our transaction, we would pull in our documents from there. So as you can see, we've got the CIS, all of them basically in a logical order of what gets used the most. So for example, I want to pull my documents over. I would just go to add a file. Well, actually, if I was in the transaction and I did it in .loop, it would actually say pull from .loop when I hit add multiple files. This one doesn't because I didn't use .loop or DocuSign, but that button would show up here. So here I can go into, I'll pick a different one. What have I got in here? Yeah, I've got them in here. I could just pull them over. The first one is what document? Oops, not that bar. Is the CIS, I believe. So assuming that I had my CIS right here, I would just drag it and drop it. And then the next one and the next one. And you can see once I've done all of those, they've all been moved over. Once they're moved over like this, then I hit submit to MC, and I'm ready for compliance review from Market Center. Questions? So once you've sent them through for compliance, I'm going to go into a different transaction now, so you can see what it looks like once they've been.
Sandy?
Yes?
Yeah, and what you just showed us, what happens if there are some of the paperwork was done manually and sent over? How do I attach that?
Basically exactly the way I just did that. I can go into my hard drive and get scanned copies.
Okay.
So let's go back to that one. I'll show it to you again. So I'm in my documents here, and I have, I want to add additional documents. Oops, I need to go here. So for example, I've got, all right, here's the release for the Decoy. You would, they've signed it in person and you want to add it. So you've scanned it up into your hard drive, right?
Okay.
So it says manual, and I just click in this space, and it says, where do you want to look? I have my stuff organized. I might have it saved to my desktop. Here you can see I keep a blank CIS on my desktop so I can find it. So if I hit open, it's loaded right in there. And then once I hit assign, you can see the activity happened over here. Now the neat thing is, once you pull all of your documents over here, you don't have to go back into Dotloop or DocuSign to find them. You can either remove it if it was the wrong document, or you can print it straight from here without having to open it, or you can open it from here. So there's functionality here that can save you a lot of steps if you have your documents stored in here correctly. Questions? Okay, let me go back to the one. As you can see, this one says open right now. And let me go into one that was approved. Oh, I gotta change that from here. Oops, back up a step. So when I go into this one, in documents, you can see there's a note here that these are approved. So you always know what the status is of your transaction. And if you have, you can look right down the list and see which one was approved. If for some reason Dawn rejects something, that will say rejected in bright red. Okay, now, once you're approved and you've gone through and your DA is created, you have another tab over here called closed. And you'll find your DA that Becky will create. She'll upload it right into here for you and let you know your DA's been built. So if you want to send it to the attorney's office for pay at the table, you would just grab it from here. Or you could go into the transaction and send it from within the transaction, depending on if you did it in Dotloop or DocuSign. Once you go to closing, you're going to come back and add the settlement statement here and submit it for the market center to know that it's closed. Questions? Now, you can see I didn't actually make a transaction to do this. Go ahead and do some experimentals so that you can, when you're ready to sit down and get paid, that you understand the process. That experimental one that I did with my son as the buyer. Where is he? Nope, those are real ones. Let me go back up. So I have these in here as active buyers. Nope, those are real ones too. Let me go back into the other one. So if I decide that this isn't going to go anywhere, I can archive the opportunity and just make it go away and it's gone. So you can do some experimentals, fool around with it, and understand the process for when you're ready to get paid. All right, so as these are running through the different phases, you can see that there's probable and potential income. Let me go into a real one and show you what they look like. And this, when you look at those numbers, the probable and potential, that's what it's based on. You can see there's a calculation on each one of these. So you can see what the potential income is on it. Now, the key to getting paid is making sure that you move them out of Cultivate into, for example, this one's coming on the market. I can move her into appointment. And, but when you go under contract on these, you must have them out of Cultivate or the Market Center. When Betty's ready to do your commission, she can't find it. It has to be moved out of Cultivate to under contract. Did you see how easy that was? So here I can move it back to Cultivate. And now when I go over there, it's back over there. That simple. It's drag and drop. Or if I'm moving it within this particular phase, if I'm going from nurture to hot, I can just drag and drop there. Questions? Now, if you don't like looking at it in this format, you can change it to list view. So what your opportunities look like here. Tracy, this might work better for you rather than the boxes from an administrative standpoint. But okay, question time?
My problem is that I'm in there, so I can't mess around with views or anything like that.
That's going to change soon. You're going to be able to do your own thing.
Thank God.
There are some big team changes coming too. So look for that by the middle of August, probably. All right. Jean, do you have questions?
No, I'm good. Great job, Sandy. Thank you.
Okay. How about you, Ron? Do you have questions?
I am, at the moment, I think I'm good.
Okay. Now, both of you guys know that if you ever have questions about command, you can go into that link that has been shared on the Market Center bulletin board and schedule one-on-one half-hour appointments with me. We don't need to use all half hour. If we need to, we can go over, but you can book time in my calendar. It shows what's free, and you can always come to me with questions.
Where is that? I should probably mark that down.
Let's see if I can find it. Let's go into that. If not, what's your email, Ron? I'll just send it to you.
Sure. You can send it to Ron, R-O-N, at newhomesde.com.
Okay, it's right in my email signature, so.
Okay,
easy.
perfect. Yeah, I think, because I've got, let's see, what do I have? I've got a couple that are under contract, and I just want to make sure everything's up to date, and I haven't had a chance to double check, but I'll take a closer look, and if I have any issues, then I'll just set something up to go through it one-on-one with you.
Okay, and I'll set it so that you can share your screen and I can tell you which steps to go through.
Perfect.
All right, sounds like a plan.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
It'll be coming to you in the next 2 minutes. Tracy, do you have questions?
No, ma'am, I think I'm good. And I will tell everybody on this call that she is amazing when you do one-on-ones with her.
Thank you.
I've taken advantage of that a couple times.
And Jean, you're good to go for now?
I'm good for now. Otherwise, you will be seeing me on the link.
Okay, do you have the link?
I'm sure I have it. It's an email, isn't it? The Market Center. Huh?
What's your email?
Jean Cousin with an E at kw.com.
Okay. All right, I'll send it to both of you guys so that you've got the link. Tracy, you know how to find me. You guys are good to go.
Have a good one.
You too.
Thank you, Sandy.
Uh-huh. Bye.